Hello kids, how are you and how have you been? Today we'll be talking about subtraction of numbers and we'll be learning subtraction of numbers together. So go on with me and let's learn together. Imagine we have these fruits in your basket. Right there where you have these fruits displayed in your basket. Now, subtraction of numbers is just as easy as every other topic. So let's count the total number of fruits I have on the screen together. So let's start together. The carrot is the first one, then banana makes it what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So here we have how many fruits? 12 fruits. So in our baskets currently we have 12 fruits. Are you wondering what I'm trying to explain from counting these fruits? Oh, don't worry, just let's go along. You will understand the points I want to make. Now, if I remove all the pineapples, how many fruits do we have left? Imagine that in the basket with you right now, I decided to remove 3 pineapples. If I remove 3 pineapples, how many fruits do we have left? So, the pineapples are out. Let's count the remaining fruits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have how many fruits left? 9 fruits. So this is just the simple meaning of what subtraction is. Subtraction is that you have a particular number of items. It can be money, it can be anything, your chocolate, biscuits, yogurt, anything. So out of what you have, if you remove some, the quantity left is what you have after you have subtracted. So the ones you remove are the ones you subtracted from the word subtract. 1. Now we still have our 12 fruits in this. Let's remove cherries. So if I remove the cherries in this basket, which are out, you can see the cherries are out already. How many fruits do I have left? We can count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 fruits. So we have 10 fruits. As simple as that. So that is just the basic concept of subtraction, that when you have something, you just remove some out of it, then you count the remaining quantities. Examples that we can easily relate with using numbers. Let's solve. We have 53 minus 21, the tens and the units. So I'm going to represent what we'll use to count with arrows. So I will be counting arrows. So let's write 3 arrows. That we always start from the unit part. Don't forget, I mentioned that in the addition video that I did before. Always start from the unit part of it. So if you start from the tens part, especially if it is subtraction or addition that has to do with either carrying or borrowing, your answers won't be correct. So remove 1 arrow. I've removed 1. You can see there was 3 arrows before, then I removed 1, and we have how many left? 1, 2. So what do? I'll just write 2. So we have 3 minus 1. That means if I have 3 arrows with me and I decide to give out 1, the remaining arrows that I'll have will be 2. Let's go to the tens part. We have 5 arrows minus, that means subtract or take away 2 arrows from the 5. We have how many left? 2, 3. So we have 3 arrows left. That is just the basic principle of subtraction. Don't forget that when you hear the word subtract, it's the same thing as remove or take away. So when you remove, that means the quantity will reduce, it won't increase. In addition, the quantity will increase, and in subtraction, the quantity will. Let's solve this example. We have 48 minus 36. Let's count using stars. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we have 8 stars, and we will be removing how many stars? 6. So let's remove 6. Good. How many do we have left? 1, 2. So we have 2 stars left. So we just write the 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. Then we have 4 stars, and I want to remove 3 out of the 4. Well, I'm supposed to remove 3 based on the question. So we have 1, 2, 3. So how many stars do we have left? Good, 1. So we just write the 1. That is the basic principle of subtraction. Let's do something on a more advanced level in terms of the number of digits. Here we have 100, tens, and units. Previously we did tens and units. Now we'll be solving another one that is 100, tens, and units. We are also going to start from the units part. No matter how long your addition or your subtraction is, always start from the units parts. So we have 5 oranges. So this time I used oranges rather to signify the number. So I counted 5 oranges. Now we are removing 2. So after removing 2, we have 1, 2, 3 left. So we write 3. We move on to the tens, where we have 3 oranges. So I'll remove 3, 2, 3. And what do we have left? Nothing. It's just like I have 3 chocolates, and I decide to give it out to 3 of my friends in class. If I give each of them 1 chocolate each, they have 1, 1, 1. Each of them have 1, but I do not have any chocolate left because I gave everything out. So we signify that with 0. So we use 0 to say that after removing from this each of that, there is nothing left. So 3 minus 3 is 0. Then on the hundredth part, we have 2 minus 1, and we have how many left? 1. So it's just simply going to be 1. So very simple. Now let's try this. 653 minus 238. So this one will be arranging it by ourselves. I arranged the previous ones, but this one will be arranging. Don't forget from the logic of the place value that 653, 6 has a place value of 100, 5 is tens, and 3 is units. So you want arrange them under each of their place value. If you don't understand the concept of place value, I've done a video before about place value. You can kindly watch that video so that we can move on faster here. So we arrange the other part, 238. Now the unit part here, the first one is 3 and the other one is 8. 3 is less than 8 and we cannot remove 3 from 8. It's just like me going to a mall and I have 3 naira or whatever your currency is, and I want to pay 8 for whatever. If my mom just says, okay, oh, go and buy something in the mall, and she gave me 3 naira, and I got to the mall and I saw something of 8 naira, that is what I want. But because I have 3 naira, I cannot afford to buy something worth 8. So we can't. It is not possible to remove 3 from 8. But we have a way of solving this subtraction question. You look at the number before 3 on the unit, which is under the tens, and the number is 5. 5 here is bigger than 0. So we are going to borrow 1 from the 5. So we'll be left with 4. Then that 1, we just put it right in front of the 3 to make it 13. And this is possible because the 1 is coming from a place value of 10. So when you remove 1 from the 5 is 50 if you remember place value. So when you please, if you don't understand, kindly watch the place value video. So if you borrow 1 from the 5 is 50. So when I borrow 1 from there, that one is 10. So if I add my 1 to my 13, to my 3, that's how I got 13. So 13 minus 8 now will give us 5. Then we have 4. This is left with 4 minus 3, which will give us 1. Then 6 minus 2, which is 4. So that's the simple logic. Another way, when you have a number, you are subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number. This is how we go about it. Let's take another. 275 minus 116. So let's arrange. Since this is not arranged, again you have 5 and you have 6, which is also impossible because 5 is smaller than 6. We cannot remove 5 from 6. So we borrow 1 from 7, which will remain 6. And don't forget that the 1, when you carry it, it won't be 5 plus 1. It will be 10 plus 5, which is 15. So instead of just thinking 10, just put it directly in front of the 5 to make it 15. Minus 6, 9. 6 minus 1 is 5. Then we have 2 minus 1 is 1. Very simple and straightforward. Every topic in maths is easy. All you have to do is follow. Another example, I'll take as much as I can. We arrange. So we have 6 and 8, the same challenge. It's impossible. So what do you do? I heard you. Let me assume that. Borrow 1 from 7 to have 6, and this is now going to be 16. Good. 16 minus 8 is 8, and the 6 left there now minus 9. Is that possible? No, because 6 is also less than 9. 6 minus 9 is impossible because 6 is less than 9. So we just follow the same procedure we did with the units and the tens. That's what we do with the 100 and the tens. Please just be calm and follow me. Now 4 is the next number after the 6. We borrow from the 4, which will be left with 3. Then we bring 1 out of it. We borrowed 1 out of the 4. So the 1, very easy, just place it in front of your 6. You're also carrying from 100 to tens, so you cannot add it together. You can only add 10 and tens, or subtract tens and tens from each other. So we have 16 minus 9, and that will give us 7. Very straightforward. Let me say it again so that we can understand. This remains 6. You have 6 that is left there. So when you have 6 here, and you cannot say 6 minus 9. 6 minus 9 is impossible. So we can't say 6 minus 9. So what do? In simple terms, is just to borrow. Just borrow 1 from 4, which 4 minus 1, example. So can you try this out? Just try it out and let's see if you get it, the answers. I'm confident. I'm very confident. So just try it. Now let's solve them together. Let's solve it together. We have 2 and 4. 2 is less than 4. We cannot remove 2 from 4. So you go to 6 and we borrow 1 from 6, which will have 5 left. Then we'll put the 1 in front of 2. Don't forget, why did we put the 1 in front of 2 and not say 3? Because our 1 is tens and it is coming from tens to units. So we are going to add it as 10 plus 2. Good. 12 minus 4 is 8. And this 5 is also less than 8. So we have borrow 1 from 7, which is 6. 15 minus 8, 7. Then 6 minus 3 is 3. Same procedure, even if you have it up to 10 and thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, no matter the number of digits, the procedure is still the same. Just understand that once you borrow, the one that you borrow, just put it in front of that number. There's no need thinking, don't rack your brain. Just put it in front of the number and subtract. If you need to borrow, just borrow from one place. So here we have 10 minus 9, which is very simple. It's just like if I say I have 10 pairs of shoe and I decide to give out 9 pairs out of the 10. How many pairs of shoe will I have left? Just 1. But now I want to explain how we got 1. Sometimes you can have a big number and you want to subtract it, but they are all ones and zeros. It can be tricky, but it is still the same method like what we did before. Now from here we can't say 0 minus 9, so we borrow 1 from 1 and we'll have 0 left. Then we have 10 minus 9, which will be 1. And now we have 100 minus 54. 100 minus 54. On this part, it is very simple. I don't want you to start thinking, how, what do I do? No. We'll do what we've been doing before now. 0 minus 4 is impossible. And under our tens, we have 0. which we cannot borrow from 0 to. Then before the 0 we have 1, and we can borrow from 1. So all we are going to do is to borrow from 100 to tens and then to units where we really need the number, the 1 rather. Borrow 1 from 1, we have 0. Now you cannot move 1 from 100 to units. No, we can't. Don't forget the rules of place value. We cannot. So we move 1 to tens. You can see 10. We move the 1 to tens, and then you have 9. When we now borrow 1 from 10, we'll have 9. Then we take the 1 to 10. Can we do that again together? We borrow 1 from 1 to have 0. Then we move the 1 to tens, which will give us 10. Then we now borrow 1 again from 10, which will remain 9. Then we bring the 1 to the unit part. Don't forget that the reason we went through this procedure is because you cannot just move from 100 to units. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. So we have 0 minus 3, 0 minus 1, and 1. Wow. The same procedure. Everything is the same. We cannot remove 3 from 0. And on the tens part, we also have 0. You know, we can't borrow from 0. So we are going to do what we did the other time. Borrow from 1, which will be left with 0. And we cannot move 1 to the units. So what do? We move that 1 to the tens part, and we have 10. Then from 10 we borrow another 1, which will be left with 9, and we bring the 1 to our units. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 1 is 8. Then 0 minus 0 is still 0. So we'll just leave it blank. So 100 minus 13 is 87. So let's solve 100 minus 89. This is our last example. So let me give you like 10 seconds to solve it. Then we'll do it together. So 10 seconds is up. I'll just follow the same procedure I followed for every other question. 0 minus 9 is impossible. So what do? I'll go to 1 to borrow, and when I borrow from 1, I'll be left with 0. Now we already borrowed 1. We have to move that 1 somewhere. We move the 1 to the tens part, because we cannot remove 1 from 100 and take it to units. So when you put it in the tens part, you are going to have 10 here. So just put it directly in front of the number. You can even see this example is explaining what I was trying to say with the place value. You can see in the tens part now you have 10 and you have 0. If you look at this number together, it looks like 100. That is why you put this in front, not add your 1 to the 0. So we have 10. Borrow 1 from 10. We have 9 minus 8. Then we borrow 1 from the 10, the one we borrowed from the 10, we go to the unit part to give us 10. 10 minus 9, 1. 9 minus 8 is also 1. So the concept of subtraction is as easy as you can imagine. In fact, it is easier than you can imagine. So just try out other questions in your textbooks online. Questions will be available on my Facebook page, so you can just go there. There will be questions and the solutions will also be provided. So try your hands on as many questions as you can. Just try them out. The more you solve, the more you learn. The more mathematics questions you solve, the more you learn. And if you have any question, you can just drop it in the comment section. And thank you for watching. I want to say thank you for watching. And if you have not subscribed, please now subscribe to this channel. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Pinterest. Follow me at Maths with Bola, so you can just follow me there too. That is where I post the questions, the answers, quantitative reasoning and some other learning aids that you can use that can improve your math skills. Thank you, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Love you.